What's up, fellas? Your perspective in the building. Back again with another episode, another interview. Whole team die here. How you feeling, Win?
Man, it's another day, man. I'm on the grind, networking, man. It's a lot of good stuff going on in the horizon for all of us, man. Appreciate all the love and support, man. Make sure you following, make sure you liking, make sure you subscribing. We got a very special guest today. I'm gonna let my boy Dot pop it off, man. But y'all stay tuned and make sure y'all locked in for this podcast.
Yeah, man. We're gonna get to that in a second. But I see you rocking that full court, man. What's up with that?
Man, get you full court, man. Big sponsors of the podcast, man. I want to send a big shout out to Full Court Houston, man, the #1 vintage shop in Houston. Y'all know me, man. When I pop out, I do not want to be wearing nothing y'all got on. So I get all my stuff at Full Court.
Right.
If you want to stand out amongst the competition, get over to Full Court, man. Like I said, the best vintage shop in the city. Big supporters of the podcast. I want to send a big shout out and salute to them.
Yes, sir, man. With that being said, man, shout out to Full Court. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the supporters of the YouTube, the Instagram, the Twitch, everybody that's showing love, Facebook, everybody, man. We appreciate the support. Continue to show that support throughout these holidays. We're going to keep them coming. We're going to keep our interviews coming. But today we got a very special guest. You know what I mean? A very special guest. A legend in his own country. You know what I mean? Standing 7'6" tall. You know what I mean? My boy Tacko Fall. You know what I mean? Born and raised in Senegal. You know what I mean? Came to Houston first. Came to the H first, like everybody should. Like everybody should do. You know what I mean? But finished his college season at UCF, Central Florida. Had some battles with Tacko. Tacko, what's up, brother, man? Appreciate you pulling up.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
Nah, no problem, man. So, you know what I mean? Born and raised in Senegal, man. Born and raised. Did you ever touch a basketball out there? Where did that start?
In Senegal?
Yeah.
Barely. My basketball journey pretty much started when I moved to the States. Like I was saying earlier to you guys, I randomly just met this, he had an academy in my neighborhood that he had just got started. His name is Ibrahim. And we just randomly met on the street, and he wanted me to go to his academy and take a look and all that. I was like, I don't know you, I'm young. Like, I'm not about to follow you. You can come talk to my mom.
Yeah.
He came and had a conversation with her and about the opportunity of coming to the States and, picking up a basketball, but at the same time still getting an education, which was very important to her. Had a conversation, and pretty much that's how everything started. 6 months later, I was on my way to Houston.
Anyway, straight to the H, man. Straight to the H.
So you came straight from Senegal to the H. Was that the transition?
Straight from Senegal to Houston. Houston was my first stop.
Yeah, and so you were playing high school ball in Houston. What high school were you at?
Jamie's House Charter School.
Okay.
I was actually supposed
to never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a charter school that was like close to the Woodlands. I was first supposed to go to a Christian school in Houston. I forgot the name.
Westbury Christian?
No. Was it Sunrise? Oh, not Sunrise. Sunrise is not in Houston.
Sunrise Academy?
Sunrise Academy. I heard of that. Yeah.
Sunrise Academy. I think I heard
Sunrise Houston.
Yeah, I've heard of Sunrise Academy, yeah.
I think it was the school I was supposed to go to, but something happened there. That's the school where I initially had my 20 to go at. When I came over, the people that I was staying with, I don't know exactly how that went, but I ended up at Jamie's house. And that's pretty much how a lot of the stuff got like mixed up and my 20 got revoked. So when I was trying to find different schools, I had to pretty much restart the whole process. In order to be able to stay in the country.
And what age was it when you left, bro? What age were you?
I was 16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Left at the age of 16, bro. That's a leap of faith. Like we talk about, that's a leap of faith. That's a throwing your, just giving it. I know you probably always wanted to come to the States. That probably was, I don't know if that was your dream or not, but I'm sure at 16, going to the States or on the way to the States, you were super excited.
Now that was a little scary. That was a little scary. I mean, but the hardest part for me was leaving just my mom and my little brother.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much all I know. And my little brother at that time was 6 years old,
Mm,
and I felt like the man of the house. So
yeah.
leaving those two by themselves was very very difficult. And coming to the States was exciting. You hear about the States, the opportunities, and all that, but once you get here and you start to think about what you left behind, then reality starts to kick in a little bit.
hmm Now, Taco, brother, at this time when you're 16, man, how tall are you already at this point?
I was about 7'2".
That's 16, bro.
Yeah, I was about
That's
7'2".
crazy. That's
And,
crazy.
and so, I know Don touched on it a little bit now. Was basketball actually, was that the dream? Is that what you wanted to do? I mean, I know it walking around at 7'2" at 16 is like, I'm pretty sure everybody around you would assume that, but is that actually what you wanted to do?
But listen, at that age, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a whole bunch of things.
Mm.
Basketball was not at the top of the list.
Yeah.
I used to play soccer when I was young, just for fun. I was really big on like school stuff. I wanted to be a computer engineer, and I still wanted to do that even when I got to college. That's
Yeah.
where I went to school for my first 2 years in college. And then basketball really came into my life because obviously I was very tall and everybody was like, "Oh, you need to play basketball. You need to play basketball." And that's how it came about. I had to develop the love for the game like a little bit later. Even when I started, I didn't know what I needed to work on. I didn't know what it would take to get to, let's say, even college. I had no understanding of college basketball or anything like that. I had a little bit of knowledge about the NBA, but that was just something that was so far fetched for me. Like
Yeah.
I would have never imagined then that I would have made the NBA. It was
Man,
more
that's,
so like thinking about the NBA where I'm from is almost like a fantasy. Like, okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
could
saying,
dream
yeah,
about the
but that
NBA
is a fantasy, bro. It is a
it
fantasy. Like
is, it is,
it's one of
it,
those, it's one of those things where, a lot of people, that's a lot of people dream. So, it's
yeah,
this is the dream. That's like the ultimate dream when you're
yeah.
playing basketball. That's like the ultimate dream. So I'm sure
Mhm.
where you from is probably like far beyond because you're like, how I'm gonna get to the States first, you know?
Exactly,
And then
exactly.
once you hear it, it's like, all right, I'm a little bit closer,
Hmm.
but it's still a fantasy. You know what I mean? It's still a dream. It's still
Yeah,
one of those
yeah.
big accomplishments. But
Hmm.
you coming over at that age, bro, that just shows a lot of determination, passion, you know what I mean, dedication, just to
Yeah.
keep it going without your fam, switching schools, taking the journey in high school, coming to Houston. You've never been to Houston before. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
what did you think of the States when you first arrived?
Well, first, I my expectation of Houston was very like I'm about to go see New York. I thought Houston was gonna be like New York, like all the big buildings and all that. And
Yeah,
Houston was the complete opposite. Like there was a lot of land. Everything was just big. The houses were big. The roads, like my first impression was like getting out of the airport and taking the highway. Where I'm from, it's not a big country. Like everything is really small. I'm from a really
yeah,
small city. And we get on this highway and I see like one, two, three, four, 5 lanes. Like, damn, this is big.
yeah,
We get to the house, like that was my first impression. And then Houston was very hot at the time. That's I'm close to the ocean where I'm from. It gets hot, but you get a little bit of the ocean breeze. Um, the language was kind of a hard thing to navigate at first, but it didn't take me
yeah,
long to pick it up. I think it took me maybe 6 months to like be able to hold a conversation, and by 8 months I was fluent.
yeah,
Getting used to that, and then the other hard part was the basketball part because that was like my first time really playing basketball, and I sucked. and I didn't. And sports is big in Texas, man. Like that's one thing that I've noticed. Like basketball is big, football is even bigger. But people took that stuff very serious. So when they see a guy that's like 7'2", they didn't understand that I was still young and I'm still just starting to play basketball. It was tough mentally.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, he sucks. I'm like, at first I didn't understand what they were saying, but once I understood, I kind of took it hard in the beginning. But then I just put my head down and started to figure some things out. Started to work on my body a little more, and things really started to kick in when I started to become a lot more competitive, and I started to love the game of basketball a lot more. Started to study the game, go on YouTube. I met Hakeem Olajuwon, who back in Africa, even whether you're a basketball player or not, you know of Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
So that was something that was huge for me, and just falling in love with the game, falling in love with like the process of getting better. Every time I would let's say I was the first month I was there, I play against the same people 5 months later, 6 months later, and I was almost like comparing myself and see how much better I've gotten, like to the point where I was even better than those people. Then it's like, man, this is exciting.
Yeah.
It just gave me more motivation to keep working, and also always remembering, where I came from and what I left behind. All those things really helped me back then.
Yeah, man. So that's an amazing journey, bro. Kind of tell the people now where you at and where you playing at, and what I mean, what country you in, and how's everything over there where you at, bro?
I'm currently in New Zealand. Signed with the Breakers, playing the Australian League, and it's going great. The team is great, the organization, the people. I'm here with my family. They treated us well. It's beautiful here. Oh,
You got
my
the
daughter
new.
just got
Congrats on
she's
the
crying.
newborn too, bro.
Thank
Congrats
you,
on the
thank you,
newborn.
thank you.
That's lovely.
Sophia, say hi.
Hi,
Say hi.
hi.
Okay, she's
Congrats,
crying.
brother. Congrats.
Thank you. Here, she probably just wants to. There you go.
So you in
But
New
yeah,
Zealand now with the Breakers?
yeah, yeah, and it's going well. I'm rehabbing the quad train. Hopefully by the next maybe first week of December, I should be good to go at the latest.
Man, good luck with that,
Wish you
brother.
much help, speedy
Thank,
recovery, brother. And we
thank you,
also
thank you.
want to give a big shout out to the whole New Zealand.
Yeah,
I was
whole
able
New
to spend some
Zealand.
time down there. Big shouts out to the
Mhm.
Canterbury Rams. Big shouts out to the Southland Sharks. I was able to win the MVP, the DPOY, and the Import of the Year in the same season. I went crazy down there. Shout out to Max
Okay.
Darling. Shout
Yes,
out to
sir.
Mojave King. For real, no cap, no cap.
No, I mean it's no
Shout
cap.
out New Zealand. That's an amazing place, Dot. And I will tell you this, brother. Out of all the places in the world, they got some of the most
Yeah,
prideful locals. Like the New Zealand, like local players. Bro, I almost had
yeah,
a fight every game. I swear to
yeah.
God, like it was almost a fight every game. Like
No
they
way.
that competitive, like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like they not giving an inch. They will fight. They will claw. They will stretch.
Yeah,
So I had many competitive battles with as they would like to call themselves, the Kiwis.
The Kiwis. The Kiwis. But yeah, no, that's
now
lit, man.
I
That's
was people here are really nice too, like really nice.
Mhm.
When we got to the airport, like people were, because we had a lot of bags, people were just helping us with our bags. And when we got here, literally our neighbor, she drove us to like, she was like, any places y'all want to go, like she would just take us because they drive on the opposite side of the road. So it's kind of strange, for us to like go to places we didn't really know how to drive around here, where to go. And she literally, like, they were really nice, really
yeah.
great people.
Nah, so yeah, with that being said, bro, like just for y'all out at home and for the people that's gonna be watching this, you know what I mean, we're like literally on two different sides of the you know what I mean of the world right now, trying to get a connection to go to get this podcast out, man. So I would want to say to you, Tacko, man, appreciate you for taking the time out to do this, man. I know we've been trying to set it up, but at the same time, you're on a whole nother time. It's probably Thursday there or something. You know what I mean? So we do appreciate that.
It's Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. You see what I'm saying? I'm all off. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate it, man. And I know the service is going in and out, but we're going to make sure we do this the right way, man. And like I said, I appreciate it for real.
Man, Tacko, kind of catch us up a little bit on how's the season going down there, man. Give us a little bit of insight, man. How you liking the team? Where you guys kind of sitting at on the playoff standings, man? How's it? Give us a little rundown on how the Breakers are doing so far.
The Breakers are doing well, really well. I think a couple games back we were sitting at number one. Had a bad loss. They play again tomorrow, so Saturday. I think we're top 3 right now. The goal is, in this league, if you top 2, you get an automatic bid to like the semis, and then the rest they do like a little play-in. So being top 2 allows you, you for one you play less games, then 2 you closer to the championship. So I think there's a great possibility of that happening. I think we just got to take it game by game, because this league doesn't have a lot of teams. So every game counts.
Like 10 teams, right?
Yeah, every game counts, and also it's not like the teams are so far apart when it comes to like, who's gonna win every game. You can go either way, so you always gotta stay locked in. From what I've noticed, I mean, I haven't played yet.
I was gonna say they ain't got Tacko yet. Yeah, I might be number one.
watching the games and studying, I think, right there for sure.
No, for sure, bro. That's what's up. When I didn't know you played in New Zealand. How long ago was that, bro?
So I played there twice.
Yeah.
I played there after my first G League time, after the Warriors. I went down there so they have like a summer league that starts up right after the G League. So a lot of G League guys go down there, get some more bread type shit, and then kind of get some more film to kind of go off the next year. So I went G League. I went down there. I won everything. I played with his teammate right now, Max Darling, who's like a power forward. Kind of think of like the guy from France. What's the guy from France? Like the 4-man, kind of undersized.
Yabusele.
Yeah.
He's in that type of mode. Big shouts out to Max Darling. That's my guy. He was a young guy when I was over there, but now he didn't elevate it up to he playing with the Breakers.
Yeah.
So time I was playing there with him, who was down in Christchurch, our team was the Canterbury Rams. Then the second time that was after I went to the Ukraine. After all that happened in Ukraine, I went back down there. And I played with Southland, which is actually this jersey right here.
Oh, that's lit.
This is a New Zealand jersey right here, Southland Sharks.
That's a New Balance jersey.
It's New Balance,
yeah.
I got it backwards, but on the front it's Southland Sharks.
Oh, okay, that's lit. Big shouts out to New Zealand.
Big shots all New Zealand, man.
Yeah, but no, Tacko, man, just kind of going backwards. We talked about you being born and raised in Senegal, coming to Houston, your high school journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of want to know how you ended up committing to UCF out of all places. UCF.
First of all, you're talking about UCF like it's a small school. We do.
I'm just saying UCF out of all places.
Yeah. So I was like, my journey led me to Florida. So I went to Florida. I met a beautiful host family there. I was comfortable there. I had people there. I was, basketball was going really well. High school, like I was with each one teach one in the circuit, and starting, getting more offers. People seeing me. I had my first like mixtape out. I think it was on Home Team Hoops with Ryan. So a lot of things were happening, but UCF was, I think, the first school to come and see me at my high school. So we got to build a great relationship with the coaches. First, it was one of the assistants, and then the head coach and the other head assistant used to come to my school pretty much like all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I was familiar with them. We got to build a great relationship together. UCF was right, down the road from where I was living. It wasn't too far. I was able to stay with my host family around. And like I said, I had such a great relationship with the coach. For me, it was a hard decision. I'm not gonna lie, because there was so many other schools that had like a lot of history.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue was one of them. I almost went to Purdue too. I was very close. There was like Tennessee, Georgia Tech, Georgetown, um, Texas Tech. Like there was a lot of schools, but
Yeah.
having that relationship with him was a big factor in it. And I mean, it worked out the way that I guess it was supposed to.
Yeah. Nah, bro, I mean, I went to U of H, so we was in the same conference, man. I remember playing you all the time. I wanna ask you something. I don't know if you remember, bro. I remember after one of our games, I didn't never say a word to you, bro. I came up to you, it may have been before or after, and I asked you, bro, like, how do you sleep in your dorm room? Do you remember
I don't remember because I definitely
that?
I got asked that question so many times. Like you were not the first or the last one to ask me.
Yeah.
Like people
And I
always used to wonder what it was like, you know, even like what kind of bed I had, what kind of car I was driving, like how it was
yeah.
pretty much on a day-to-day basis. I do remember our battles though. We had
Yeah.
you guys beat us more often um than we beat y'all, but my senior year, I was very adamant about like I had I had to get my get back against Houston because I just had a you guys left a bad taste. Like I obviously loved Houston. I went there first. I've been to a few U of H games when I was younger. I thought, U of H was going to be a great school for me. But when I was just getting started, it was almost like I felt like you guys, whoever the coaches were back then, didn't really believe, that I could be where I became. So I made it a mission whenever I would play against y'all, like you guys were going to feel me. And my last game against y'all, I don't know if you remember. Did you play that game?
I may
Maybe.
have been gone. I may have been gone because I remember you stayed.
It, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
I had
You
left.
guys were number. You guys were. I don't know if you were number one or number two in the country.
I was never ranked at U of H, so it couldn't have been me, bro.
Okay, well then you was in. You
Yeah,
guys
we
were
was
at
never
least
ranked.
top four.
Would
You
that
guys
be,
were
would
at
that
least
be
top
Rob
four.
Graham?
Rob Gray, Galen
I
Robinson,
think
those
it was
guys.
definitely
Yeah,
Rodgers.
yeah.
Yeah,
We was never ranked.
you guys were like top, at least top four in the country, if not number one. And you haven't lost a home game in God knows how long. And we're
Yeah,
playing you guys at home. It was like college game day was there, and I really took that opportunity. I was like, if this was the day that I've been looking for all these years, and yeah, sure, we won, and we handed y'all, your first home loss like at home in a very long time. But I always
yeah,
enjoyed playing against y'all. And Coach Sampson is, obviously a legend.
yeah.
I have a lot of respect for him.
Not for sure, bro.
And I don't know how closely you stay following the program, man. But obviously, right now today, man, I want to give a big shout out to UCF. They're probably one of the most interesting schools in the nation right now, just for the fact that some of the people they got on the team, man. Talk to us. Do you
Yeah.
keep in touch with them? Are you close with the staff still, or is it the same staff that you played for, or is it has it turned over, or kind of give us some thoughts on that?
No, Coach Dawkins is still there. They've had a few changes, like with the assistant coaches, but Coach Dawkins is still there. Coach Dawkins is one of the best people I've been around. One of the best coaches. I mean, obviously, the way that he can relate to you as a player. Obviously, he played. He was one of the best college players ever. He played in the NBA for a lot of years. Very relatable. Great person. He's. I give him a lot of credit for I made a big jump when I was in college, especially like from my sophomore year to my senior, and all of that had to do with just me getting out of my comfort zone a little bit. I was very reserved, very shy in a sense, and he literally pushed me out of that, and that helped me a lot throughout my career. Just amazing dude. Have a lot of respect for him as well. But the UCF team they're going to be good this year. Like they have a lot of talent, probably one of the most athletic teams in the country. I went before I did, I signed with the Breakers to play in those three NBA preseason games. I went to UCF to get ready for that. So I called coach. I was like, actually, I called Jacob and then say, is there any way I can go and practice with the guys? And Coach Dark is texting me like, yeah, get your get your ass over here.
Yeah.
So I went. I was there for pretty much that whole week, practicing with those kids. Man, they have a lot of talent. Very young guys, very athletic, and they have the right people, guiding them and leading them. And so far, they have had a great start. I think they just need to stay consistent, and they're gonna have a great team this year for sure.
Man, I like the fact what you said about Johnny Dawkins, man, because for the simple fact, man, as we know right now, some of those guys are kind of having to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
a lot of people kind of turn their back on some of those guys, and he's giving them a second chance to kind of right their wrongs, continue their dream, continue their goals, man. Me personally, I always have respect for those types of coaches who allow people to have a second chance. And we all go through stuff, it's ups, it's downs.
yeah,
Some of us make some tough decisions, right? We don't have to speak on it. I know all of us probably know about some of the situations of some of the guys on the team. Not just one, it's multiple guys. It's two,
yeah.
three guys on the team that then had some very serious incidents that could
Mm,
ultimately derail their whole career.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
think that says a lot about Coach Dawkins. Obviously, everything that you touched on, man, to kind of give these guys another home, a second chance, and ultimately a very nice place to play, man. I love Florida. I don't know if you ever knew this, but that's one of my favorite places in the world. I love Florida. Just
Yeah. No.
weather,
UCF campus is super
amazing.
nice.
Yeah, it's A1.
UCF
They campus is like
UCF
vacation. Y'all campus is like vacation.
is huge. It's a lot of
Yeah.
people though. It's like we had what when I was there, maybe we had over 60,000 students. Now it's probably a lot more.
No, that's lit, bro. Taco. So I kind of want to, what I mean. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean. I've seen it in high school. It was a viral clip. You know what I mean. I'm not sure of the other guy's name, but I know in high
Yeah.
school I knew who Tacko Fall was. But a lot of people online is calling it Tacko Fall versus Taco Bell. Can you kind of tell us about
Oh
that
man,
game, man? Did you know that was gonna go viral like that?
nah, I had no idea. That game, I think it was definitely in high school, my senior year of high school, away game, and we start off the game. I had like 3, 4 dunks in a row. So the coach figured let's get the big guy here trying to push him off the block. And that's when he came in, and that's what you guys were seeing, like him trying to put his barrel. Like he was really at first he was using his hands, and then I
Yeah,
guess we just started running up and down the court. Like he's big, he can run. I can move, so I'm like trying to beat him off the court, and he's just trying to really stay on my body and put his belly on me. It was funny. He's actually a football player now. The last time I saw something about him, or maybe
does
he
he
was a
play
football player
professional?
back then too.
He would have to be
I
playing
don't know.
professional at
Yeah.
this point.
Is,
I don't.
is
I
this
don't know.
guy
I
playing
don't know. I'm not
professional?
sure.
Or
I'm
okay,
not
or
sure.
Taco just saying the last time I checked on him, he was playing.
Yeah,
No, the last time because I did see it online. There was like he was playing football somewhere, like briefly
yeah.
on Twitter.
No, I remember that. I remember that clip, man. That shit was viral. That shit was funny as hell, but it was viral, and it was high school. This was early on, like when all the clips was going viral. Maybe YouTube,
Yeah,
Instagram. Early, it was super duper early. But I kind of wanted to talk
it's,
about that, man, because I know a lot of people still repost that, still post it to this day. I'm
I was
sure.
just about to say it's one of those clips that research like comes back every now and then. You just go online, you just like see it all over
Taco,
again.
brother, how often does that kind of stuff happen, man? Is that a normal occurrence? Like, are people always trying to do little annoying shit to get you off your game, or like, is that just a one
Yeah,
time thing?
no, yeah, it happens, especially when they feel like, because sometimes you can't blame people for trying to like, oh, what can we do to try to stop this guy? So they really try to do those little tricks. At some point, you just get used to it and just see it. Like it's part of the game. Like what am I going to do? I'm not going to complain about it. I just gotta go out there and just keep hooping.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man.
It happened a
For
lot in
sure.
China.
Yeah. Now,
So
see, I was gonna ask you that. So with that, we haven't got to the NBA stuff yet, but you did play in China for 2 years, 3 years, right?
two.
For 2 years, and those guys are super aggressive. They like to push, they like to foul, they like to
Oh
hold,
yeah,
they like to, do dirty stuff. They're known for playing dirty.
yeah,
So how was those
yeah.
experiences? Like, how did you deal with that?
My first year, the first couple weeks, that like it took some adjustment because I wasn't expecting that. Like it was bad. It was bad. It's not only that you can play physical. Like I'm always used to people playing overly physical against me because they feel like they have to. But I wasn't used to people playing physical and dirty at the same time.
Yeah,
But like I said, and they're very prideful. I actually love that. And it's in my mind, at some point, I was looking at it as like, oh, this is actually going to prepare me to get back in the league because there's it's nowhere near in the NBA. Like people would, they don't really guard. They can't do it. They can't guard like that because it's going to be an automatic foul. You have to allow people a certain amount of freedom of movement. Whereas in China, it almost felt like I was getting guarded like I was a 3-point shooter. You're guarding Steph. You can't really get off Steph's body that much. Even starting from the opposite, side, like you have to stay on him pretty much full court because you can shoot it anywhere.
yeah,
Like they were expecting me to shoot the ball half court. I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the paint, and that's how it was. You would have multiple people trying to guard you, like people always constantly bumping, grabbing, all that kind of stuff. But you can't change it. You just have to embrace it. That
yeah.
part of China, I would never have any complaint about it because it's tough, but it pushes you to like get out of your comfort zone and be better. You have to adjust.
Exactly.
Um, the refereeing sometimes though is terrible. Like that
Yeah,
part is very frustrating.
we're not even gonna talk about that, bro. That's a whole nother topic of conversation, bro.
Well, we can't talk about it because I gotta come to the ref's defense. It's probably impossible to referee the game for you, brother. Like, if we being honest, like, I
Yeah.
mean, I would imagine you probably on the short list of players in the world. It's probably just impossible to referee the game. You probably get fouled every
I
time.
every time. I agree. I agree. And it's like if you blow the whistle every single time, then you're just gonna disrupt the flow of the game. Yeah, I do understand that part because I dealt with it in college. I've dealt with it pretty much my whole career. But
Yeah,
it's like at some point the ref might let a little bit of here and there just slide just so that they don't have to blow the whistle all the time. But it gets frustrating for sure.
I would say if we get referees, please, all the referees around the world, can you just get the calls right in crunch time? That's all I ask. When the game is close in the fourth quarter, please blow the whistle when you're supposed to. That's all we ask. I first through the third quarter, you want to let some shit go? You want to let them tug on my arm and elbow me a little bit? Cool. But when we hit fourth quarter, below 5 minutes,
but
you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, is that fair, referees? Is that can we?
and I'll also say, hey, look, Taco just said he get fouled every time, ref. So make sure you looking, make sure you calling fouls for all the referees out there. If you reffing Tacko Fall game in New Zealand, wherever you at against the Breakers, please, 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 please call foul because they
But like
hacking
you
my boy
said,
out
Doc, if they called every foul, the fans wouldn't want to watch it. So I do understand from that point, though. You know what I'm saying? Referee, bro, being a referee is one of the toughest jobs. Hey, Chad, I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know if you want to be a referee, a security guard, or one of them dudes standing at the door at the club.
there. Or you say this what did it do?
Oh man.
You say what did the dude do? What you call it? The dude standing at the front of at the front of the
Bro,
club.
those are the toughest jobs on the net. Those are the toughest jobs in the world. Nobody's ever going to be happy with you, ever.
Never,
When I
never,
walk in the
never.
club and this dude at the front stop me, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Why?
What are you doing?
Not
All
for
right,
sure.
so shouts out to all the refs around the world, man. Taco, bro, I wanted to switch gears with you a little bit, brother. We got some kind of staples on the, on the podcast that we do, man. And we haven't really touched on this, and we should. As all
Yeah.
young black men in this world, man, we did all come from Africa at some point in our lineage, bro. So we all brothers in the land. And I myself have done extensive research on all the best players from Africa, bro. But from somebody that's born there, raised there, been there first 16 years of your life, which is the most important time of your life, you're just getting started. Man, who are the best players? Who's the top 5 players from Africa, brother, that you would say?
In no order. I would start with, in my opinion, definitely Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, Luol Deng. I have to be a little biased. I have to add somebody from my country. I would put. I mean, Gorgie did pretty well, but I like Maktar too. Maktar, I think, might have been the first player from Senegal to get drafted, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
And obviously you have the Manute of the world. So those players, I mean, most of those players, pretty much everybody back home knows them.
so we got Hakeem, we got Mutombo.
Mutombo,
Who's the third? Gorgie James.
Luol Deng.
Luol Deng.
Oh,
Luol
Luol
Deng.
Deng.
Luol
Okay.
Deng.
Yeah.
Then you go Gorgie Deng.
I either put Gorgie or Maktar.
Maktar.
From
We're
my
gonna go
country.
Maktar since
Maktar.
he's from Senegal. We go Maktar.
Okay. And then Manute
Mutombo. Chat. Mutombo. I'm sorry. Olajuwon. Mutombo. Luol Deng. Matar. I'm not familiar with who's Matar.
Maktar, yeah. He's a scout right now. Maktar. He's I think he was in New York when you were there.
Oh yeah, I remember Maktar. Damn, that went right over my head, bro.
This is my
first
right
over my head. I used to talk to him a bunch. That went right over my head, bro.
And these are just people that are like, these are not necessarily, let's say, I mean, obviously Hakeem and Dikembe, they will be in anybody's list.
Yeah, that'd be 1, 2.
These are just the people that I have a lot of respect for. And as a side note, Dikembe passed not too long ago. He was just an amazing person.
Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo.
May the Most High.
He played here in Houston, man. I grew up. We grew up watching him. He grew up in Houston.
Yeah,
he grew up playing.
He's was an amazing person. Every time that we interacted, you could just tell what kind of such a kind soul. He did so much for the continent. He did so much for Congo, building hospitals, building a lot of stuff that improved a lot of people's lives back home. And, he was contributing so much in elevating the game of basketball from Africa. Like all of us coming in here started from people like him going to the States and making it to the NBA and opening up so many doors that have ended up changing so many lives. Like now you have a lot of African players in the NBA, and there's going to be a lot more. We had the athletes, we just didn't have the infrastructures or the resources to be able to develop the talent, which now, with the help of people like him and the NBA and different academies, we've been able to accomplish. And that's something that we always will be, like, he left such a legacy. I just wanted to put that in there too.
No, for sure, man. Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo, man. Rest in peace.
I did have one more question about the Africa, maybe a little bit off topic, but I would love to get your insight on it, brother. So a lot of times, man, at least since I graduated high school class 2012, so let's just say class 2012 to now. Why is it that you think, brother, there's most of the time there's big men that come from Africa, right? Like pretty much they're all bigs. Like who are the African guards? Where is it any nice African guards? Like I'm trying to think, is it any African guards in the league?
Yes. So there are. I will tell you what I think is happening there. So for example, I started basketball when I was 16 because, obviously my height. People would be more, like willing to take someone like me that's so tall because they think, oh, he's tall, he can play basketball. Then let's
That's
say someone
interesting, bro.
who might be a guard. Like 9 times out of 10, that's what would happen. But now what's happening is we're putting the right infrastructure. There's the right people who are able to find those talents and give them opportunities and give them the visibility that they need so that they don't just only pick, like, let's say, the raw tall talent. There's a lot of people who are very tall, especially where I'm from, like Senegal and Sudan. You will meet so many tall people that may or may never even touch the basketball, but you will also see a lot of other people who also have a tremendous amount of love for the game and put in a lot of work. They just don't get seen. It's easy to see somebody who's 7 feet tall walking down the street. Very easy to notice. But then on the
Yeah.
opposite side, there's a lot of people who have gotten left off, and I see a trend where that's changing. You have now a lot of academies who work with people from the States, from Europe, even in Asia, um, even in like the Middle East countries. Like I was just in Bahrain not too long ago, and they brought over some kids from like Senegal, from Nigeria to like train them, and there's a lot of that happening now. And with the NBA, they have the NBA Academy. They have Basketball Without Borders, which they do every year. So it's a lot better. Now you see more like guards, more shooting guards like than you used to before. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. A lot of us, African that came over, especially early on, were bigs.
No, that's what's up, man.
All right, quick, fellas. Give me one
That's a
second.
that's a great question from Win, man. I never really noticed that. I never really noticed it with the big man, but now that I think about it, it's actually true. It's actually true. Like
Yeah.
you don't see many guards really. But yeah, bro, I kind of wanna jump around and what I mean, go back to high school, well, past high school, past college, and then let's talk
Mhm.
about, what I mean, going undrafted and getting the two-way to the Celtics, getting that call right after the draft, going to the Celtics, playing in the summer league, and then going to the G League and playing, and ultimately getting your chance to play in the NBA, man. So I kind of want to give us a rundown on how that experience was and getting that call right after the draft.
Um, well, that was a long night. That was a very long night. I finished my college career great. Like I don't think it could have. Maybe it could have went a little better if we won that game against Duke, because now you get to advance even more. People get to see a lot more. But there was enough there for me to be like, okay, I think I'm going to get drafted. And I had a great summer. I had great, pre-draft workouts, and my name was moving up the draft boards slowly. I think at that point, close to the draft, I was projected from like, you know, late second round to undrafted. So I actually went to New York because there was noise that I was going to get drafted. So I was
Yeah.
there, did the whole thing, and that night I went undrafted. I just went back to my hotel. It was probably like every second felt so long because you know teams are calling your agent, but you're not really there to see who's calling and what conversations are being had. But I just kept things into perspective, took a deep breath, and just sat down and was pretty much waiting for to see who was going to be interested. And Boston was very persistent. Like they kept calling and they wanted us to make like the decision quickly. Like, okay, we want Taco to come. Like, we believe in him, and this is going to be a great opportunity. So they were putting pressure on my agent. There was a few other teams, and I sat down and thought about it. I was like, you know what? Let's go to Boston. Even though it was going to be an Exhibit 10, at first they were just so persistent that you could see that they believed in me, which they did. Like I've the best time that I've had in Boston, man. Like the people, the organization, from top to bottom. That's something that I would never forget. So that's pretty much how I ended up in Boston. I had a great summer league, played really well, had a great preseason as well, and I think the last game of the preseason they gave me a two-way contract.
Yeah, so ultimately that's probably was they playing the whole time. They just wanted to see
Yeah,
you on the
probably.
court. Yeah, they
Yeah,
just they just
maybe.
wanted to see they wanted to see you on the court. They wanted to make sure everything was good, get you in, see what kind of person you was, and then eventually you was gonna get that anyway. You know what I mean? And that was early on, so that was like
Yeah.
early two-way time too. So you know what I mean? It takes some time and kind of figure out weed out the guys that they don't want, and they probably always really
Hmm.
wanted you. They just wanted to make sure everything was adding up on your end, and you did what you were supposed to do, man. So, you know, I mean, I remember that time. I remember that time period. You know, what I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
Any particular things that you can remember about the G League that was like kind of tough for you, or just maybe too easy?
Yeah. I mean, the G League is not, in my opinion, it's not that hard. It's you go out there to pretty much get your reps. It was more so like, okay, I was in the G League because they wanted to see me develop. Also, it's like see me stay in shape and do all those things, which I think I really took advantage of that. Maine was great. I mean, there was not a lot going on in Maine.
Got a little technical difficulties, chat, but we're
Yeah,
gonna keep
yeah,
pushing. Look,
Hello, hello.
we here.
Sorry, I was my brother was calling me.
You
He was
good?
telling
Tell
me
bro we said what up, man. Little
shout
bro,
out.
you know they go to Leo's, huh? Shout out LJ's performance, man. They go to Leo's too. Him and his little bro.
That's what's up.
Yeah, but nah, man. I know
um,
you was
but yeah,
saying it
man,
was pretty easy for you.
yeah, the G League wasn't that hard. Was there a lot of bigs even in the G League when I was there?
I
I
mean,
don't
not
think
your
so.
height, bro.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but the G League was fun. It was definitely a fun experience.
Nah, yeah, for sure.
Man, so on the podcast, bro, we like to kind of, look at different teams and look at different organizations. And a lot of times we talk about the bad teams or the teams that we think are just, say not the best organizations. But I think that say a lot about you, that the fact that the Celtics was, what I'm saying, the team that was interested in you, brother. I would say on the short list of teams, if if the Celtics, if the Miami Heat, if the Oklahoma City Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Golden State Warriors, if them teams like you, or if they pick you, or you in their system, I feel like you got a great chance to succeed, brother. Like most of the time, like think about it, Doc. Everybody pretty much who drafted to them teams be like a home run every time, like they all night, like you know what I'm saying. So just like on the flip side, we like to talk about the bad teams. I think this is a good way to think about it, you know what I'm saying. Give some flowers to some great organizations, and to my man Tacko Fall, like I said, bro, to be in this game and to have the Boston Celtics as the team that looked at you, realized your talent, like what you had to offer. I think they say a lot about you, bro.
Nah, for
No, I
sure.
appreciate that. No, Celtics definitely a great organization. Like to this day, I go back there like it's home. Like once you're there, they always treat you pretty much like I was only there for like what 2 years, 2 years and a half. It felt like I played there for 20 years to this day,
Yeah.
and that's something that I'm definitely very appreciative of, from like the organization to the fans.
Nah, for sure, bro. Just playing with just so the people at home and the fans and the Boston Celtics fans know, you know what I mean. You were there with Jaylen Brown, you were there with Jason Tatum. Now to see those
Mhm.
guys full circle win a championship, you know what I mean. That's a testament to they hard work and the
Yeah.
dedication and the successfulness of that. You know what I mean, organization. Can you kind of give us a rundown on? You seen that coming, or you seen their development, and you knew it would happen eventually,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. You knew it was going to happen eventually. I mean, they were on the right track. They had the right pieces. They just needed to put pretty much everything together. We were close a couple times when I was there. Like both years, I think we could have went all the way and even win it. But sometimes when it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen. And those guys were very persistent. They have a lot of pride was also just great people, very humble. Like Jason, one of the most humble people I've been around. Jalen, one of the most intelligent people, that I've been around. We both really good friends of mine, and they put in a lot of work, like every single summer. Like JT is just constantly working. Jalen always working, and it's just good to see that all the work that happened in the background and all the sweat and the tears that people really don't get to see have paid off. And I was there for the championship game, and like winning in Boston is different. Like you hear about it a lot, but actually being there and see what it means to those people, it's very emotional, and it means a lot. And I'm just glad that they were finally, able to get over that hurdle and make it happen.
Nah, for sure, bro. Nah, yeah, big shouts out to the Celtics, man. Big shouts out to those guys. But Taco, let's kind of jump into it, bro. We're gonna talk about a couple more things and then we're gonna let you go, man. But let's talk about your first career points against the Knicks, man. I remember they was chanting your name. I remember that game. They was chanting your name in the Garden, and you came
Yeah.
in, scored your first points. The Madison Square Garden went crazy, bro. How was that feeling, getting your name chanted with the Knicks and that being your first time scoring in the Garden, man? How was that?
Wait, so the Knicks fans was chanting for him?
Knicks fans was chatting Tacko, put Tacko Fall in. I
Nah,
remember
it's
I
one of
think it's my rookie year, bro.
it's one of those things that happen, like that you just can't never forget. Like that moment will stay with me for the for the rest of my life. First NBA game in Madison Square Garden. You hear a lot about Madison Square Garden. Just the fact that you in there playing an NBA game is just, crazy, especially coming in as a rookie. And then I'm sitting on the bench. I think we were winning by a lot. I was a little nervous because I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to get in because we
Yeah.
find them out. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, you start hearing from one side to the arena, people like slowly starting to rise, like calling out your name. And all of a sudden, the whole arena just like going crazy for me to get on the court. And all that like nervous energy just goes away. Now you're just excited to go out there and play. Go out there, they give me the ball. I think I missed a hook shot. But every time I caught the ball, you just felt it like everybody was just like holding their breath out, just standing up, seeing what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think Brad Wanamaker threw me a lob, and I dunked it, and the whole arena just went like berserk. It was
Went
cool.
crazy. Yeah, it went crazy. I remember that, bro. That shit was crazy. I was like, man, there's no way nobody getting no chance like this in the Garden. Taco
In
come.
in the guard in New York,
Yeah, no, I know that, and
and
that's what you thought the states were. I mean, that's what you thought the states was. New York. You thought everywhere was
yeah,
New York.
I mean, New York is another city that I definitely would have loved to play for, like the Knicks. Just being in New York, I mean, like playing in the Garden, even Madison Square Garden all the time with like those fans, very passionate. Kind of reminds me of Boston a little bit. Like Boston is different. Boston will always be like my favorite place. I'm not gonna lie, but the in New York is different.
Yeah. Nah, Taco, man. I appreciate you. What I mean, giving us your rundown, giving us your story. What I mean, your journey, your career path. What I mean. I just want to say, man, I appreciate you taking the time out. I know you over in New Zealand. We're in Houston right now. We're trying to intertwine times and get on the same schedule, man. But I appreciate you being patient with us, bro. I appreciate you taking your time out to
Of
chop
course,
it up with us. And what I mean, this is season 2, episode 4 on Your Perspective. Appreciate you showing love, man, from all across the water, overseas. What I mean? Like you said again, rest in peace, Mutombo. Shout out Tacko Fall. Shout out everybody out there in the country of Africa, man, Senegal, everywhere, man. If y'all tune into this, man, much love from Your Perspective. Much love to Africa. Whole team Dot. What I mean? Tacko Fall in the building. Got my man ESPN Win. What I mean? And that's season 2, episode 4 on Your Perspective, man. Thank you so much, Taco.
appreciate you guys.